Welcome back to the second episode of SOMTU VMAG Podcast Series, where SOMTU brings you ideas shaping business, leaderships, and where the world future is working towards. Today's guest has done something most people only talk about doing. He's actually crossed the line between banking, startup, academia, and came out the other side running a business strategy department at one of the Barcelona's top business schools. So he studied why sustainability goals sometimes work against each other, why customers stay loyal to ride-hailing apps that get it right. And years before it was the mainstream, he wrote a book trying to explain Bitcoin to the everyday readers. Stick around because by the end of this episode, you will have much better sense of where business, sustainability, and technology are actually heading, not where the headlines are. Let's welcome Mr. Andrei Boar to our show. Warm welcome to our show. So before starting, let's get to your introduction. So rather than reading out the long titles, we would like to hear from you yourself. But before getting into the questions, a lot of listeners are our students. So and they are in their early careers, still figuring out what they want to do. So instead of usual, tell me about yourself, I would like to ask you in this way. So if you had to explain what do you actually do day to day to a 20-year-old who has no idea what a head of business strategy does, how would you actually put it? And what's the one-line version of how you got there?
Of course, thanks a lot for the invitation. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I am in the academia. Actually, I'm a UPF, Barcelona School of Management, which is one of the best business schools in Europe and in the world. And as a head of strategy, my function in this case is very different because I am the director of many of the faculty of my area. So I am in charge of controlling the numbers of hours that they have, the level of the teaching, the topics, the contents, and also related to the master's programs that are in my area. So I am the director and supervisor of all the different topics. However, a part of the head of the department, I am a professor, and it's the part that I like more. So to be in class with the students and to share my knowledge about finance, about sustainability. And in one sentence, I think that I am a professor that also need to manage other professors.
So asking about how you got here in Nepal and how is SOMTU related with the University of Barcelona here?
Oh, yeah, of course. So we started a project 4 or 5 years ago between UPF, Barcelona School of Management, and SOMTU. What we have done at the beginning in Nepal is to make some courses about sustainability for the banking sector. That was the first step. However, we want to go a little bit more in deep with the sustainability because it's one of the main challenges that the country face, because Nepal is one of the countries in the world with more climate risks. This is not a good notice, not a good idea. However, it's a reality because we can face from floods to earthquakes to Himalayan, the forest. So there are many sustainability issues that can happen in this case in the country. So with this idea, we launched with SOMTU, we gave them this technical assistance to launch a postgraduate diploma in sustainable development as a first step. And now we are working on a master's degree in sustainable development because we want to help SOMTU in the building of the leaders and managers of the future. And we need this sustainability integrated inside the curriculums. And also, today, sustainability is very expanded in the banking sector. However, in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we are going to see sustainability in all the sectors. So what we are doing is to prepare the future EAC officers that we will need in this case for the country.
Okay, talking about academia, let's get to your journey. So, back when you were on the customer service floor at BBVA, which is one of the largest financial institution and multinational banking groups in Spain, so you went from a customer-facing role to BBVA to CFO at a startup to academic leaderships. So for students who feel like their first job, it's very hard to land on and they do not know where they want to go, what is the one piece of advice that you want to give, or what is the one experience you want to share regarding that?
Sometimes nobody knows what they really want to do in their
Yeah.
lives. Don't be surprised for that, because it also happens to me and to everybody. My advice here is try different things. So you need to try many things and to see what you really like. So when I start working as a referee of basketball during my weekends. But I see that, okay, I like it in the moment, but I see that it's not my life. After that, I pass in the banking sector. However, I don't want it to stay every day inside one office doing the same. No?
Yeah.
After that, I moved to some startups, but always the startup sector have some problems and issues with the uncertainty, the lack of growth, the lack of cash. And after that, it appears me an opportunity into the academia that also forced me to leave the private sector. However, today, being in academia, I am very linked in this case to the company. So I am assessing the board of directors of different companies. I'm really in touch with them. I help companies in the real life, because one of the problems of the academia, the typical and usual academia, is they are professors and they do research. Yeah. However, they have never seen a company. And I always believe that if I want to do a class that is very valuable for my students, I need to bring them real life. And real life comes from being every day also with the companies and know which are the problems, how sustainability is applied, what are the challenges they are. So it's something that it's really important for being a professional.
That's very true. So, you have mentioned about being a referee, basketball referee for a Catalan Basketball Federation, right? So, when you were making a split-second decision on the court with the players and coaches shouting, does that actually prepare you for managing the high-stake department decisions?
Absolutely, yes. So when I started, I was 16 years old. And the boss of the basketball told me, yeah, but you will see that will prepare you to make decisions under stress, to decide in one moment, to make very fast decision. Yeah. And with 16 years old, I thought, yeah, okay, thank you. But now I can say that that's true, because it was really the point that started to train me to work under pressure. So I work under pressure, I think 7 days per week. Okay. Then I need to be very used to that. And exactly one part of the success of my job comes with the training with basketball.
So, while saying that, what's the equivalent of calling a technical foul when someone derails a business strategy?
I very like this question. So, there are too many mistakes, I think, will be the technical foul here. The first one is to don't have humility. So, to believe that your business is the best. So, and the second one is when you create a startup, to think that the market needs you. Because you can think that your product is very needed in the market. However, maybe the market doesn't need it. And the main problem here for a company is always, in all the companies in the world, the lack of cash. Because if we don't have profit, don't have revenues, we can solve it, no problem. But if we don't have cash, we cannot pay. And if we cannot pay, then we are going to close. So the main technical fault here is to have a problem with the cash, because it means that we have worked over our opportunities, or at least we don't know how to manage the cash in our company. So maybe this is the bigger mistake that a company can make.
So there's a lot of your research being published, right? So let's dig into that first. Your research looks at situation where different sustainable development goals actually conflict with each other. So can you give an example most people would not expect about your research?
Yeah, so we have 17 Sustainable Development Goals with 169 targets. These SDGs have been created by the United Nations, which are very good idea. However, these SDGs were thought for countries.
Yeah.
And these SDGs are not adapted to companies or individuals. Then what happens is that when you want to focus as a strategy in one SDG, there are many differences because we talk about economic growth, we talk about no poverty, we talk about climate change. And the problem is between these 17 SDGs, we have synergies and trade-offs. What does it mean? So there are some synergies that work together. For example, if we have more economic growth, on that sense, we are going to have less poverty.
Yeah.
We are going to have more clean water or not. But there is also a big trade-off. If we want to have a big growth economy, also it will act in the climate change with a negative impact. It will work in the climate change. It will have a negative impact also, for example, on the life of land. So there are some SDGs that conflict between them. Actually, what the United Nations says, this is said by their report, is that if we compare 2015, when the SDG starts with and with the current situation, only 30% of the targets now are going on to be achieved by 2030. The other 50%, more or less, have some deviations. Yeah. And the other 20 are worse than in 2015. Okay. Which means that I'm not sure that the SDGs are actually fulfilled by the year 2030. And in 2 or 3 years, we are going to see the SDGs of the 2045. But let's see if we don't replicate, on that sense, the same mistakes. Because if we want to focus as a country or a company in one SDG, let's suppose that, so in the SDG 8, the first indicator is that the GDP needs to grow at least 7% per year. If we want to have a GDP of 7% per year of growth, it's very difficult to also protect our biodiversity, our fauna, because it will mean pollution. It's not very difficult to grow by 7%. These are the main issues that we have within this trade-off between the SDGs.
So do you think that this sustainable development goals should be started from the micro level, or it should be like facilitated from the macro level?
Yes, so at least needs to be adapted for the companies, because without the companies, it's impossible to have a sustainable development. So Nepal or Spain as a country have a limited effect on the economy. So we had just the government and the indicators and whatever. However, they don't decide what the individuals or the companies does. So what is very important here is that the next SDGs that we are going to create also to consider the micro level, and also to starting by introducing indicators and targets for the individuals, because then we can know what to do to achieve a target. By now, as a company, what I need to do to achieve the 7% growth of GDP? It means that I need to increase my revenues, but how much? So nobody knows how to apply them really in the company. So we in the current companies, we only say, life of land is my target. Then I'm doing 3 actions. Okay, however, how can we measure that? How we can know if they are correct or not? So we need to change the perspective about these SDGs for the future.
So talking about this program which we are running at here in SOMTU, what do you think about this program? Because it is also related to the sustainable. Does it are this aligning with the Nepal's prospect? What do you think?
100%. So it's absolutely yes, because also the current situation of Nepal is to be a net zero country by 2045, which actually is a very optimistic perspective. However, let's work through that. So it says by the Nepal Rashtra Bank that in the future, in the next years, we are going to need more than 6,000 ESG officers across the country to the different real sectors of the economy. Then launching a program in sustainable development is what we really need. And actually, we are going to need a lot of course because we need to arrive to these 6,000 workers. And even for the students, I think that it's a new topic that can be very interesting, and they can feel very, very well helping the country, but also the planet. Because what we are doing is to introducing the different risks inside the company and then see how the company, on that sense, can move through this sustainability.
So for a company that wants to take a sustainability seriously but does not know where to start, what's the first practical step?
Then stop thinking that sustainability is only a cost.
Yeah.
Because it's true that sustainable actions means a cost for the company. But it's also true that if we don't do nothing, then the effects will be worse. So if we consider doing nothing with mitigation, with acting, we will see that doing nothing is for free, but then the impact that we'll have will be worse. Because, for example, today, we need 1.75 Earths, planets per year to use the resources that we need. 50 years ago, we only need one planet. What does it mean? That in 20 years, we are going to need 2.5 planets because the growth also is exponential in the world. Then also it means that the extreme disasters will happen frequently. Then we can wait to have more floods, more storms, more earthquakes, and more everything that will affect us. So thinking that doing nothing is for free, it's a kind of mistake, or it's not true, because the effect will be going to zero after that when it happens, because when the flood will come and everything will be destroyed, how much is the value of my company then?
Yeah.
Instead, mitigation is the solution, actually, because it's true that you need to make an investment now. However, you can ensure that this natural disaster will not happen, or maybe will happen less, or at least you have the solution to still running your company after that. But if we don't do anything, for sure that we are going to have a big impact. And sometimes we don't consider the climate risk or the biodiversity risk in our strategy. And we must do that, because the biodiversity risk is also a financial risk for the company. But as nobody asks, we only don't do it and we don't consider it. However, maybe we can have some surprises there, bad surprises.
So now let's take a left turn, because most professors of accounting don't always write the books about Bitcoins. So let's talk about that. So when you wrote Discovering Bitcoin, what did you think people misunderstood the most about it? And has that changed in the current scenario?
Yeah, so this book was being written 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
When nobody knows about Bitcoin. So then one of the opportunities that I see is because I love a lot the crypto world. I have a lot of knowledge at the moment after reading a lot, after practicing. And then when I wrote this book, the idea was, okay, let's share this knowledge for very dummies people. So people who don't know about Bitcoin, don't know about cryptos, let's tell them what is Bitcoin, what is the crypto, what can we expect, how to buy cryptos, So it's a guideline in this case for use. It has been written 8 years ago. Now, obviously, it's absolutely, in this case, unupdated. So everything has changed since 8 years ago. So now we cannot talk about writing a second edition. We need to talk about writing a absolutely new book, because everything has changed on that sense. It's true that the theory and the basic things being the same. However, the book needs a rewritten, because in 8 years, the crypto world has changed extremely a lot. So when I wrote this book, one Bitcoin was, I think, $10,000 per unit. Now it have grown by more than 10, 15, now it's 60. But the point is, it has moved a lot, it has changed a lot. There is new regulation, for example, in Europe, we have the MiCA regulation that is closing a lot of exchanges. So it's something that needs to be integrated when we talk about this crypto world.
So having said that, do you think blockchain will end up mattering more in accounting and auditing than in currency itself?
No, actually no, because when blockchain appears 5 years ago, it seems that if you don't apply blockchain, you will close your company. Yeah, it was a kind of boom, a kind of trending about blockchain. However, 2-3 years ago have been demonstrated that it's a good technology, obviously, but it's not required by all companies. So not all companies require to apply blockchain on that sense. So blockchain have very good applications through information, through security, through data tracking. However, not all the companies need blockchain. They don't need these services. Then there are two main parts. One, which is the application in the company as a technology, and the second one are the cryptocurrencies. But when we talk about token assets, actually bigger than cryptocurrencies, we have many different categories, and we usually only know Bitcoin. However, now in the world, there are more than 500,000 different cryptocurrencies that we already don't know. So, and this is the reality. And almost all of them have a value of almost zero. However, they are in the market.
So before we wrap up, I want to bring it back to some practical things for our listeners. So some of your advices, a lot of whom they are early students. So if you design an MBA from scratch for the year 2035, what's the one course everyone assumes should be there, but you would cut it off?
Artificial intelligence. I think that it will be something that needs to be done. But artificial intelligence will not do our job.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence is like having an assistant always with you. I use it a lot. I use it for everything. And it increased a lot my productivity. Because instead of spending many hours on looking to, I don't know, a new example, they look into internet for me. Instead of spending many hours looking into my agenda, barely they fix the meeting. So the point is that artificial intelligence will help us a lot, and we need to understand not the technical part, but we need to understand how to gain productivity using that. This is the first thing. And the second thing are the skills. When we talk about MBA, we think about finance, mathematics, econometrics, marketing, so everything. However, these kind of things can be also learned in the next 5 years or in 10 years. However, something that we need to prepare is with the skills. So communication, leadership, all kind of things are the ones that we need to learn today, because the other ones can be learned in the future. However, something about leadership and skill and communication and under stress and business meaning and these kind of things are the one that 100% need to be there. And if we think in a 20 years perspective, the jobs that we will have in 20 years doesn't exist today. So the point is, in 20 years, the job market will extremely change. For example, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we got the Blackberries. And BlackBerry was the future. BlackBerry actually stayed for 1 year, and now nobody knows about BlackBerry. So when internet appeared 25 years ago, in the 2000 more or less, the email was a kind of, oh wow, will change our life. People will get fired because you have internet. No, the people only have rediscovered themselves, change, in this case, their jobs. So the knowledge that we need to have during our job market life will change. But because the jobs will be different. However, what we always will need are the skills. Because if we have the skills, in this case, the under pressure work, the management, the communication, the report, these kind of things are the ones that we need. Because in 20 years, we will need to learn other things. But these are the ones that we're going to maintain all of our life.
Okay. So what's the one piece of advice you give to students that tends to surprise them?
People usually say that university is your best time of your life. I'm not sure if it's really like that. But my advice is you only have 50, 60, 70 years of life. So smile a lot. Yeah. So this is my main advice. So my main advice will never be in education, in the job. Will be at home, because when you get home, you get your family, you get your friends, you have your wife, you have whatever, And job is job, but you are only job. You are only a job. So maybe at some point they will fire you because they don't need you, and that's all.
Yeah.
But however, what will always remain is your family, is your friends, and is the one that you should, in this case, stay with them. So I really like one graph regarding to the parents. At the beginning, when you are 5 years old, you want to stay with your parents every time. When you are 15, you say, "Oh my God, no! I'm independent. Please don't solve with them." Yeah. And after that, when you are 70 years old and you don't have the parents, you think, "Oh my God, I really want to ask him about that." Yeah. So this is the kind of things that we really need to think and advise, because the exams can be retaken, the job can be changed, the salary can be increased, but the people who is around us is what we cannot relive again. So let's use part of our time in this case to enjoy them too, because it's the only part that we cannot retake.
So this is a piece of advice I would like for all our viewers to actually take, because this is something everyone has to value their personal life and their family or the beloved ones. So looking ahead, what trend do you think will have the biggest impact on global business over the next decade?
Sustainability and artificial intelligence. So I think that artificial intelligence will change the productivity, will change the job market, and sustainability needs to be integrated 100%. So World Economic Forum, which think only on businesses and economics, not in the planet, say that for the next 10 years, they always have a list of the main risks that they have. 7 of the 10 risks for the planet and for the planet and for the economy and for the business are related to climate change. Then if we don't do anything, we are going to suffer, in this case, the consequences. So I think that sustainability, artificial intelligence, and both together will be the future.
So before we let you go, we are going to do a quick rapid fire round. So it would be a sneak peek for our audience as well. So spreadsheet or gut feeling?
Gut feeling.
Okay. Banking or startups, which taught you more?
Startups.
Bitcoin in 10 years, bigger or smaller than today?
Bigger.
Okay. So one book every business student should read that isn't a textbook.
Capital of Thomas Piketty.
Okay. So referee visual or lecture hall, which is a scarier?
The lecture hall. 100%. Yeah.
So best piece of financial advice you ignored when you were 22?
If you want to invest, you need first of all to have savings.
Okay.
And savings is the basics in this case to invest, because you can reproduce the money if you have money. So you have grown your money if you have it.
Yeah.
And the first thing is, in this case, the savings. After that, we can talk about investment.
Yeah. So AI in classroom help or hype?
Helps a lot.
So the last one, what is the thing you are most excited about in this trip to Nepal?
The people. I really love the people, how everybody in this case welcome me, the different activities that we take, because as I say, the meetings are meetings, the job is job, the topics are topics. However, what will remain is the friends that I make here in Nepal. And it's my first time here. And actually, I will look the next days when will be my trip number 5. So without the friends, it's very difficult to think that.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So, Mr. Andrei, this has been genuinely most of the widest ranging conversation we have had in this podcast. So from banking to the blockchains, referee whistles to SDG frameworks, thank you so much for making the time. To our listeners, if you want to find out more about Mr. Andrei's work, we will drop the link of his LinkedIn profile and his publication in the show notes. So that is for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and we'll catch you for the next time.